Mikel, just
Hello.
to start by reflecting on Saturday, it's the first time we've had back-to-back losses this season. So what signs have you seen from the players since then that it's not going to turn into a slump in form?
Well, have some perspective how difficult it is what we've done up to now, and then feel that pain, feel that emotion, and use it to be better and to improve. So we were very clear in what happened, the reason why it happened. Watching the game two times, we didn't deserve to lose that match, but this is football, and we get punished for things that are related to our identity, and that's the things that we need to defend in the strongest possible way, because that's the reason that we are where we are today.
Because of those last two results, does it bring an extra importance to this game? It was a big game anyway, but does it add anything else?
I think that doesn't change it. I mean, regardless, we would have won the game. This is the quarters finals of the Champions League. It doesn't get much better than that, and we worked so hard throughout the season to be in this position in the competition. We're going to play an opponent here that we know about their records and what they've done. So hungrier than ever, very excited and very, very motivated for tomorrow's game.
And can I just check in about a couple of players, please? Gabriel, is he fit and available?
Yes.
Declan Rice?
Yes.
Leandro Trossard?
Mm-hmm.
And then Bukayo Saka and Jurriën Timber. I don't think they trained today. So
they're having trouble. They're not ready yet. Let's see. Hopefully they're going to be ready for the weekend if everything goes well. And that's a massive boost, because in recent days we lost so many important players, and that's something that we need to change immediately.
Thanks. We'll go to John Cost from the Mirror.
Hi.
It's a hell of a week coming up, isn't it? And you talked about the players being hungrier than ever. How does that manifest itself? Do you see the determination in this group? What makes the qualities and spirit within this group so special?
A lot of things, the way they communicate, the way they express their feelings, the conversation that obviously we had after that match, and because I know what it means to them, and I know how much they want it, and it's now the moment to show it, and we have to do it on that green tomorrow at the highest level.
When you see the mentality and spirit being questioned a little bit, more mentality than spirit, but does that fire up the players, do you think? Do you always see a response? You certainly have, early in the season.
That's in football, the first game of the season. That's going to be questioned. Is okay, what about Arsenal this season? And it's been like this for the last 9 months, and that's going to continue. That's never going to change when you play at this level for this club. That's always going to be a question mark, and that's it. You have to live the present. You have to deliver it every day. You cannot pick the games. You cannot pick the moments or the actions. It's every action, every game, every moment, and that's the standards that we set, and that's part of identity, and it's part of this football club.
Dharmesh from Sky.
Hi there, Mikel.
Hi.
Hi. Victor obviously is coming back to his former club. He could get an interesting reception from the home fans. How is he? Does he seem phased, and is he embracing what could be a testing atmosphere?
I think he's very excited. Obviously, he's full of gratitude for his time here. The way he talks about the club, the players, the staff, everybody around the club, the experience that he had, how important that part of his journey sporting has been. And and now he's Arsenal. He's the quarterfinals of the Champions League. He's never played at this level in the competition, and obviously you can imagine what it means to him.
After what he did with Sweden in the international break, he obviously came back, he scored at the weekend as well. Have you noticed a different Victor Gyökeres, maybe a more confident Victor Gyökeres?
I mean, those are experiences that you put in your veins, I would say. And it doesn't get much better than putting your country into a World Cup with a goal that you scored. So that's still there, and that's going to be there for the rest of his career, like all the moments that he's here, the moments that he's creating for us. And that's the story that he's creating, and hopefully tomorrow he's going to show another very good side of him.
Just final one from me. Last season you played Sporting here, beat them 5-1. Since then, what have you made of how they've developed, particularly in this season's Champions League at this stadium?
And before we played them as well. I mean, when you look at what they've done, especially at home, the way they have behaved in this Champions League, the opponents that they have beaten, we know the difficulty of the match. That's why we want it even more.
Tom, Football London.
Hi, Michael. We've often asked you about the experiences of previous seasons and how they're impacting this one. But can I ask you about the players that have joined this season, like Victor, like Noni, Ebereche, for instance, Martin Zubimendi, and what that experience of not playing in previous seasons and the freshness that they bring to this season, and what that gives your team in these late stages of a campaign?
I think it's a very good mixture because we had a really good campaign last year in the Champions League, and we come into this position when we play Real Madrid as well, and we managed to get into the semi-final. So that experience, that those feelings are there. Tomorrow is going to be a very different game. We know the difficulty of that, but obviously we know what is at stake and what we have to do.
Sam, Telegraph.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
We've spoken a lot this season about emotions and managing that, and we know how much the club and the fans and the players really want that success this season. At this moment, with 2 back-to-back defeats, do you have any concerns about those emotions of the players and panic setting in and the worry and the intensity of it all?
No, I think when you have the opportunity that we have, that has to be taken through excitement, through preparing yourself in the best possible way to focusing on the present, on the things that we have to do. And especially in our identity, very, very clear what is taking us all the way to where we are. And that's where we have to focus.
When you spoke about defending the identity, do you mean tactical things or more sort of philosophical?
Everything. It's not philosophical. There are parts, and an identity is created by behaviors, not with words in the world or with things that I want to achieve. And we have so many facts in the areas that, in our opinion, make us the team and the club that we are.
Phil from PA.
Hi, Mikel. I guess just following on from that and sort of the word panic, how do you ensure that that doesn't creep into the group? Because obviously Arsenal have had such a strong season, but then back-to-back defeats, and obviously you don't want another defeat tomorrow, but it feels it's sort of on the edge of the season a bit. So how do you make sure that panic doesn't creep in?
I think what you have to be is clear. Instead of panic, understand if that happens, why it happened, and bring clarity. And when you analyze that and you accept that, be better. That's it, and that's the thing that we have to do.
Amy, Athletic.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
There's a lot of talk about how the players are handling these emotions and pressures. After the 2 defeats, what about you? How do you help yourself to feel positive again? How do you manage those moments so that you can make sure you can help them?
First of all, analyzing what I've done, the decisions that I made, the reason why we lost that, what would I have done different if I had to play that game again or make that selection again or send them certain messages. That's the first thing. And then understand what the players need in this moment and what kind of manager, what kind of message is the best one to perform and to be better the next day. And that's my only focus about me, no, it's about them and try to help. That's my job, and I'm focused on that.
Okay, we'll take 2 more from English media. Simon from The Sun.
Mikel, can I just ask, you spoke a lot about identity, and is that tomorrow night you kind of want to rediscover and show the identity of this team, which for everyone watching is sort of strong defensively, the will to it, and the 2 defeats you had, we haven't seen that Arsenal that got you to this position?
Yeah, there are a few things that we have discussed internally, and hopefully, not hopefully, I am very convinced that tomorrow we're going to see them.
Sam, Daily Mail.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
In the training earlier today at London Colney, there was a few clips going around, one involving pens between the players. What was the rationale behind that and your practices today?
I think a training session has to have different elements, and it has to be related to the messages that we sent and the compromises and commitments that we've done between us. And I try to have all those messages and commitments as much as possible in as many situations as possible, and training was one of them.
And what did that mean in particular about the pens? Because it's quite
stays
unusual.
in the dressing room.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll go to BR Play Sweden.
Mikel, obviously a lot of focus on Victor here. I was wondering, when did he come under your radar? When did you start noticing him and started to get an interest to sign him?
Well, it's been our radar for years, but the most probably recent moment when we really look at it as one of the top targets, it was around December of last year when we started to really think about, especially with the issue that we had with Kai, what we have to do in our front line, and he became one of the main candidates, and then the main candidate to be part of our club.
So obviously always start difficult the first season with a new club and a new league. Are you in a place where you thought it would be, or have you hoped for more?
I thing is where he is and how successful the season is going to be for us. And when we analyze his season, is going to be defined in the last 7 or 8 weeks of the season. That's clear.
And now some from Portuguese media.
Yes. Hi, Miguel Arteta, Bárbara Simões Nunes for SIC Portugal. I want to ask you if you've spoken with Victor Gyökeres about Sporting, and for you, what are the main qualities of Sporting team?
Of course, I did, just to understand, the dynamics, the culture here, the things that they have talked, the things that they had obviously discussed when they play against us, and to have more information about them that we can use in our favor. A lot of qualities, obviously, what they're doing is remarkable. The record that they had at home is just incredible. So you need to be very good to maintain those level of performance and consistency.
Hi, Mikel. Ine Geraldo, RTP Notícias. My question for you is about Morten Hjulmand. He won't be playing tomorrow. How do you think that will influence Sporting tomorrow? And do you think, what are the main differences from Sporting last season to this season? Thank you.
Every moment of a team is different. Obviously, they're in a high moment, especially the way they got into the quarterfinals and the game that they play, for example, here against Paris, or the recent form in the league. That's it. But the moment the whistle goes, is a game that's going to have different kind of moments, and is how we're going to master those moments to take the game where we want and win it.
Okay, last two. Firstly, gentlemen here.
Hi, Pedro Casteleiro, A Bola. How do you see Rui Borges' work? He wasn't in charge last time you were here. What changes do you see on the team, and how do you analyze this Sporting team?
Well, very good. Obviously, where he's got the team at the moment, the way he's playing, performing collectively, and then when you look at individuals, what they are doing and the way they are developing as well, very impressed. So yeah, every coach has his own thing. I think he's connected with the team and the club in a really powerful way, and doing a great job.
And finally, one here.
Hello, Mikel. Aqui, here. Rodrigo Lima, Bola na Rede from Portugal. Sporting is a team with a lot of variability, able to move players into central areas, but also create danger on the wings with players like Maxi Araujo and Jenny Catamo. How do you see this variability influencing the game tomorrow, and which players do you consider the biggest threat? Thank you.
Well, a lot, because that's the reason why they are there, because they have a lot of quality, as you say, a lot of variability within the spaces that a lot of players can occupy in the attacking phase, and then, yeah, they can unbalance the game because they have the individual quality, and you haven't mentioned some others as well, that they have the capacity to do that. Obviously, the phase of play, when those players get in those positions, it starts earlier normally, so the problem starts earlier than sometimes in this moment it's too late to give the solutions. That's what we'll try to do.
Okay, everyone, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Here are more Champions League predictions. This is Sporting against Arsenal, and Shaka Stewart and Mario are all confident for Arsenal in the first leg and to advance. Stevie's confident that Arsenal would advance, but he's a little bit sceptical about that first leg. Sees it as a draw, and I'm wondering, Stevie, if that's because you've seen their new training ground tactic today.
I actually don't get how everybody's jumping on this.
You don't mind it?
No, what he's doing. What he's doing is he's trying to make it light-hearted. Is what he's doing. You know, we sat here the other day talking about, you know, how mentally he has to get them from getting knocked out of the cup and losing the Carabao Cup to getting prepared for this big game midweek, and that's part of what he's doing. He's making it light-hearted. He's getting everybody enjoying themselves, trying to forget about what's just gone and look forward and all of that stuff. So I actually have no problem with that. Excuse me, and I can assure you, I've done some of that nonsense myself.
Did you do any of that nonsense when you were at Arsenal, Robbo?
No, we didn't do any of that nonsense, but I think it goes back to the emotions. And Arsenal, I've always said, are too over-emotional. You saw the game against Southampton at the weekend, and in the very, I think, second or third minute, Gabriel is 1v1 against Fellows, the Southampton wide player, and he defends it brilliantly. He shows him down the side, he gets a slide tackle in, and instead of just getting on with the game, he stands over Fellows, I don't know what he was saying to him, but gesticulates with him, pumps his chest. You're thinking, you're way too emotional. You know, what is going through your head at that particular time that you want to do that? He did the same when he almost gave a penalty away. And that's the problem with Arsenal. At times they're too emotional. And Arteta is the cause of that on many occasions. You look at the way he's behaving on the side of the field. He's putting fear in the players. He's making it very anxious. The crowd are feeling it. So Arsenal are a good side. But emotionally, that's where they've had problems over the last 2 years, and they're having problems now. And maybe that's what Arteta's trying to get out of the squad when he's doing these training sessions.
Did you like it, Mario, the little training session?
Oh, I love Stevie's answer. You know, I knew he was doing some crazy stuff. He's the only coach between all of us. So that's why I was listening to him. No, but I mean, every coach has his moments. I'm telling you, like, you know, we always do, like, prior to big games, we do something, and what Stevie says is lighthearted, to get our mind off the game, and then later on put us back into it. And of course we had that. Sometimes we had it with food. I'm telling you, okay, we ate some crazy stuff, man, when I was at Ajax, especially in the Champions League. I was eating stuff that now no one would eat. You know, like French fries with Louis van Gaal was no problem. If you put that now on the table, people will look at you and go, are you crazy? We're playing a big game tomorrow. But at that time, I was coming out of school, seeing French fries in front of me. I'm telling you, I was knocking it down like crazy. And the next evening, I played the Champions League game. I didn't care. I was fine.
You were absolutely fine. Do you know what, Shaq? I'm just sat listening to the story, just wondering what tactics Stevie did bring when he was trying to recreate what Mikel Arteta's trying to do here.
Well, I think if you look back, Stevie is the first one to use a light bulb in training.
Yeah, oh.
Stevie is the originator of the light bulb trick.
Oh, yes.
How did you come up with these light-hearted ones, though?
Oh, there's loads of books. Just go and get some coaching books. Or even a kid's book.
What's the craziest one you've done?
Well, probably the stupidest one we used to do was like try and have somebody fall over somebody else. Well, you try to distract. What I'm trying to do is distract you, right? So that one of the boys can get behind you.
Oh, yeah, I don't trust that.
It's just it's simple, it's easy, and there's not a person that doesn't laugh when somebody goes over.
Don Hutchinson always talks about coming to training one day and Peter Reid having everybody play cricket. Everybody's playing cricket. And that is, again, lighthearted, just a change of the rhythm. That is fine. I love that story because I could see how that resonates to the players.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was go on, Mario.
Okay, I'm sure Stevie did one of those, like we all had it in the dressing room. They hide your clothing, man, when you're in a hurry. I'm telling you, they just hide it. They put it somewhere, and you're like, where is it? And they all know you're in a hurry. And they did it once with a player with us, Bambagida. They put it in the fridge. And he had to take it out of the fridge. The kid is from Nigeria. He's nice and warm. All his clothing in the fridge. We were like, what are you guys doing? Some of the guys crazy. So I know Stevie did some of that.
Did you put some in each of the shoes or socks?
Yeah. It's just anything powder. Anything you can find your hands on, put it in somebody's shoes. It's just stuff that takes the focus away from the serious thing. There would be nothing worse than having the last two games that Arsenal have had, and you come in. And it's like
a video session.
Meeting at 9.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about what happened. Oh my! You're just driving players into the ground mentally. So you do the complete opposite, and it matters not what it is, and it doesn't matter how stupid it is. And you do that to try and get the cobwebs away and get people enjoying themselves again.
Yeah, even Robbo's enjoyed all those stories there. I think a few have been jogged in his memory as he's listened to them. Yeah, he's had a little giggle there.
Yeah. Well, I've heard all about Stevie's jokes and pranks through many of the Liverpool players, and some of them can't be repeatable, I can tell you that.
No, you've got to go read Stevie's book.
Thank you, Robbo.
But let's talk, though, about why they're having to lighten the mood a bit at the moment, because just a few weeks ago, some of us were talking about a quadruple and bringing it up
Name names. Name names.
Many media outlets were talking about Arsenal winning the quadruple. We know that's not going to happen now. However, Robbo, you can actually draw parallels here, because remember with Liverpool last year, there was a lot of talk about that. We saw what happened in the cup competitions, the domestic ones that is. We saw what happened in the Champions League. But they did go on to win the Premier League. Is that much more normal to be focusing on that? Is that much more attainable? And when we talk about this, some outlets that do, it is just talking a little bit too big.
you want to win every game, you want to win every tournament, but to win 4 things or win 3 things is very, very difficult, and you are going to lose the odd game here and there, and if you lose a cup game, you're out. You know, Arsenal didn't go into that game against Southampton thinking we want to go out in the competition so we can focus on the league. The thing about the league is they're 9 points clear with and I know Man City got Arsenal later on, but Arsenal are in the driving seat. They should win the Premier League. The Champions League is something different. That's going to be harder for them, but I think they've got every chance of getting to the semi-final. The FA Cup and the League Cup, they wanted to win both those. They just didn't play very well, and that's the concern. They're not playing particularly well at the moment, and there's still 1 or 2 players that are out, key players that might not play against Sporting Lisbon. They need to put in a good performance. They need to get a good result, and it might just settle everybody down. But they're going to win the Premier League. I don't think there's any doubt about that. It's whether they can go on and do well in the Champions League.
You know when you were talking about Liverpool last year, that was exactly where they were. Please, can you tell me if there was anybody in Liverpool or at Anfield when that Premier League trophy was presented who even remotely cared about the Champions League or the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup? There's not. So, yeah, it's okay for us to sit and go, oh, it was 4, oh, now it's only 3, oh, now it's only 2. But the truth is, if Arsenal win the Premier League and nothing else, you won't hear a single word of complaint from anybody to do with Arsenal.
The thing is, though, it's not just Arsenal this season and Liverpool last. It's every single season, everybody who's top in January. Once we start the FA Cup, let's talk about quadruple if they're playing in the Champions League. Similarly, whether right now we're talking about Barcelona, can they go on and do the treble? Will it be Bayern Munich? Whoever sits on top of their league domestically, we've got 5 or 6 candidates to do a treble or quadruple.
Yes, we're always ready for it.
Always ready.
Always
Especially
ready.
UK.
I know, it's my job. I've got to do it. I've got to do it. I've got to
when
put
you go
those
to England,
things out
trust
there.
me, they'll let you know.
Yeah, why do you think I haven't been back since 2017?
Arsenal's internal shakeup continues, and the latest departure signals that the restructuring behind the scenes is far from over. James Ellis has stepped down from his role as technical director just 7 months after being promoted. According to BBC Sport, Ellis, who only took on the position last August after serving as head of recruitment, has now left the club amid what appears to be a wider internal overhaul. His exit doesn't come in isolation. In December, Arsenal appointed former Napoli executive Maurizio Micheli to a senior recruitment role, a move widely seen as part of the club's long-term structural reset. Just months earlier, Andrea Berta had been confirmed as sporting director, effectively replacing Edu Gaspar. That appointment alone signaled a new era. Now, with Ellis gone, the transformation feels even more deliberate. Ellis joins Edu and former CEO Vini Venkatesham among high-profile departures from the Emirates hierarchy. Both Edu and Venkatesham moved on to new roles. Edu taking on a global director of football position at Nottingham Forest, and Venkatesham joining Tottenham. However, neither situation appears entirely stable. Edu's time at the City Ground has reportedly been turbulent. Nottingham Forest's dramatic drop in form since his arrival has raised serious questions about the project's direction, and indications suggest his tenure there may not last much longer. Meanwhile, at Tottenham, Venkatesham has come under intense scrutiny from Spurs supporters, particularly for his initial backing and continued support of Thomas Frank, even as results and performances deteriorated from December onward. Eventually, Igor Tudor was appointed interim manager, and his first match in charge came in the most demanding fixture possible, the North London derby against Arsenal. Despite having just 7 days in the job, the 47-year-old Tudor understands the magnitude of the occasion and the adversity he's facing. "We trained with 13 players," Tudor admitted. "That's the reality. It's not ideal, but in moments like this, the challenge becomes even greater. And so does the opportunity to succeed." He added confidently, "We will have 13 players ready, and that's more than enough to achieve what we want on Sunday. I understand the importance of this match. It's a North London derby. Everyone expects 3 points from us. We are aware of that." Arsenal, however, arrive at the derby carrying frustration of their own. Consecutive draws against Wolves and Brentford have slowed their momentum, and Mikel Arteta made it clear there could not be a better fixture to respond. "It's the next game, and it's the one we're most excited to play," Arteta said. "If we could play today, we would. We have to use that feeling in our stomach the right way, and show it on Sunday." There are also selection decisions looming. Despite Eberechiezi scoring 3 times in the reverse fixture, his place in midfield is no longer guaranteed. Competition has intensified, particularly after positive fitness updates on Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard, both capable of operating in similar roles. We'll have to wait until tomorrow, Arteta said cautiously, but there's a strong possibility that both of them will be available. With tension rising both on and off the pitch, this derby feels bigger than usual. Arsenal are reshaping their leadership structure. Tottenham are battling instability, and both clubs are searching for momentum at a crucial stage of the season. Sunday won't just be about 3 points. It's about direction, identity, and control in North London. The broader picture, however, stretches beyond one derby or one boardroom exit. What is unfolding at Arsenal is a defining phase, a moment where structural decisions off the pitch could shape the club's competitiveness for years to come. The departure of James Ellis raises natural questions about continuity and recruitment strategy. Arsenal have invested heavily in building a data-driven, modern scouting network over the past few seasons. Under Mikel Arteta's leadership, recruitment has largely aligned with a clear footballing identity: younger profiles, tactical intelligence, technical security, and long-term resale value. Now, with Maurizio Micheli and Andrea Berta positioned as key figures, the club appears to be centralizing authority even further. For supporters, the concern isn't necessarily change. It's instability. Frequent turnover at executive level can create uncertainty during crucial transfer windows. With the summer approaching and expectations growing after consecutive near-title pushes, Arsenal cannot afford missteps in squad planning. Rivals are strengthening. Margins are thin. Every decision matters. On the pitch, the North London derby carries added psychological weight. Arsenal's recent draws against Wolves and Brentford weren't just dropped points. They dented momentum at a critical juncture of the season. Title races are often defined by response, how quickly a team reacts after disappointment. Arteta understands that narrative. Privately, there is belief within the squad that performances have not dipped as sharply as results suggest. Arsenal have maintained strong possession metrics, defensive structure, and chance creation numbers in recent matches. The issue has been efficiency, converting control into decisive moments. Against Tottenham, that margin for waste disappears. For Spurs, the situation feels even more volatile. Igor Tudor's interim appointment reflects urgency rather than long-term planning. Training sessions with limited numbers underline the squad's injury struggles, and depth will be tested against one of the league's most organized sides. Yet derby matches rarely follow logic. Emotional intensity often overrides tactical predictability. Another layer to the story is the competitive landscape at the top of the table. With Manchester City and Liverpool maintaining relentless standards, any slip can reshape the standings instantly. Arsenal know that draws at this stage can feel as damaging as defeats. The pressure is no longer about proving progress. It's about delivering silverware. Internally, Arteta's message has reportedly been direct. Block out external noise. The boardroom reshuffle, media speculation, and scrutiny around player selection cannot bleed into matchday focus. Leadership inside the dressing room, particularly from senior figures, becomes crucial in moments like this. There is also anticipation around the possible return of Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard. Their availability would not only boost tactical flexibility, but also restore leadership and composure in key phases of play. If both are fit, Arteta faces a selection dilemma, but one he would welcome. In North London, perception shifts quickly. One result can calm doubts or intensify them. A victory would reassert Arsenal's authority, silence questions about momentum, and reinforce belief in the current project despite executive turnover. A setback, however, would amplify concerns about consistency at the worst possible time. Ultimately, this is a convergence of narratives: structural change, title ambition, squad depth challenges, and historic rivalry. The derby will not define the entire season, but it will send a message. And right now, both clubs are desperate to control that message.